My poetry is very much these days concerned with the cause of reparative justice, and you will hear that in my in a couple of nights from today. But today, I wanted and I really want to give special thanks to Professor Essie Sutherland Addy, who made it possible for me to be here, who invited me here, and one bit of a correction: the Barbados government did help to fund my visit here because they were very keen that I should come. Um, there are very big issues when it comes to reparative justice, and I agree. And my visit here has to do with the capturing as far as I can in poetry the experience of enslaved women brought from Africa to Barbados, to the Caribbean, but especially to Barbados. It is a painful journey, but something you will agree that has to be done. Right now, though, I am focusing on something perhaps a little bit more simple, though important. A couple of years ago, in my latest collection, Witness in Stone, I published a poem called Wreaths, so I thought it would be appropriate to read it at this point. And in here, I'm focusing on a simple old neighbor of mine who, to my mind, encompasses many of those values, many of those virtues, so much associated with what we believe to be African custom in terms of family and kinship and community. For an old neighbor, Miss Lewis, she made a wreath for every dear departed from the village. Her offering of fern, bachelor buttons, Joseph's coat, Queen Anne's lace, red, white, or yellow roses. Small in stature, she circled the village, picking flowers from the gardens of the neighbors, their farewell gift in memory of long friendships, shared childhood, a young romance, some secret regret, an item borrowed but never returned, some wrong forgiven. Miss Lewis weaved with patience these unspoken mementos into her wreaths. She who had witnessed a good many births, watched over the goings on in the village, intervened as wisdom allowed, or pressed into action by another's need. As I return to this village, I see you making your rounds again, weaving the seasons of life and their endings into new beginnings. Hekima, I greet you and I thank you. Accept my gratitude in this small garland of words. Who to me were village keepers. They were the keepers of that circle of community. They are my great grandmother, Florence Shorey, my grandmother, Louise Clementina Adora Shorey Hackett, my great aunt, Louise Shorey, who never knew, who could never dream that one day one of their descendants would come back to Africa, their homeland, and call their names in Ghana. For me, it is something so humbling and so wonderful. And in the last stanza, when I refer in the poem to Miss Lewis as the guardian of the circle, I'm bearing in mind the traditional circular shape of the wreath, reminding us that the cycle of life is never irretrievably broken. We can always tie other knots to keep that circle going. And it is always an instance where we are able to enter new dimensions. So thank you, Ghana, for welcoming me here.